Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi
News. It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Eno Safo.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
This lack of stipends, we are finding difficult to afford transportation to schools. Now, some of the students are unable to pay their rent. So I think 20 of them are now residing in the Church of Pentecost over here.
Ghanaian students on government scholarship abroad cry for help after months of non-payment of their stipend. We'll hear their stories here on Eyewitness News. Also coming up, in the wake of contract terminations for what has been described as wrongful appointment, we'll be hearing from the government. There's another new announcement. It says it is suspending all post-retirement contracts by government appointees. And later on Eyewitness News, ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, the Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo, appeals for international support to deal with the allegation that has been made by his colleague that Ghana has become a transit point for drugs and money laundering. Stay with 97.3 CTF for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Bank of Ghana reaffirms commitment to promote digital financial inclusion to drive business growth.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of our affiliate stations. Around the globe, we're on citinewsroom.com. We are also on citifmonline.com. We are on YouTube and on Facebook. Look for Citi FM. We are interactive. Join us on Twitter, now known as X, and write your messages using the hashtag Eyewitness News. You can also mention me at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. On WhatsApp, the number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. If you want to know how to listen to Eyewitness News outside Accra, here is a list of radio stations that you can tune into. If you're headed for the Western region, you can listen to us on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, as well as Sky 93.5 FM also in Takrady. In the Bono region, Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. I have region Hames 106.5 FM in Goso. In the Ashanti region, Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu. In the Northern region, Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in Bimbila. In Upper East, we are on Bolga FM, Bolga Tanga based Tanga 93.7 FM. In Upper West, we are on Tongsun 97.3 FM in Wa and Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's settle for details of our stories, and we're going to talk about something that started 2 weeks ago. It has to do with a claim that has been made by NPP Member of Parliament that 2 flights arrived in Ghana, and these flights that arrived had on board narcotics and cash amounts. Let me say, though, that evidence has not necessarily been adduced, and government has said the matter should be dismissed. When we thought the matter was dying down or actually being forgotten, the Member of Parliament for Damongo, a former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who is a ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, has just written an op-ed where he says that he has formally written to the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps and the Ambassador of the Republic of Lebanon to Ghana, His Excellency Maher Khai, to intervene in the ongoing Gran Canaria flights scandal. Exactly why he wants to do that. Honorable Jinapo, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Apologies, we've lost Honorable Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo. We'll try to re-establish connection with him. But the op-ed he wrote says that he's using diplomatic channels to collaborate, or is asking for the use of diplomatic channels to collaborate with the Ghanaian security and intelligence community to unravel what he describes as the puzzle, conundrum, and the controversy surrounding the matter. Now, this follows the Minorities Caucus press conference on 1st April 2025, on some critical security issues in the country, including the controversial landing of Ahmed and Kavok air flights, allegedly carrying suspected illicit goods and money. Let me go back on the phone line. Honorable Samuel Abdullah Jinapo, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hello, thank you very much. Good evening, and good evening to your cherished listeners.
Good evening to you. You've described the issue as...
Sorry, I can hardly hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
Great. So you've described it as... you've used a number of words. So you said conundrum, you've said a puzzle, and also a controversy. There's a saying in my language that you are singing your own song and dancing. As a minority side, are you not the ones who are just simply singing and dancing to your own tune, where you have not proved or provided any evidence to back this claim of yours? So you're making everybody, go on a wild goose chase.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the question. What it is that the matters to do with illicit drug trade, money laundering, and the rest are very serious matters which have far-reaching implications for our reputation as a nation. And when this matter was reported by the Honorable John Tim Forjo, President Mahama, His Excellency President Mahama, rightly directed for, I quote, a thorough and transparent investigations to be conducted into this matter. Now, as you know, Ghana is a party to several international conventions on matters relating to drugs and money laundering. For example, the Ghana is a signatory to the Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs 1961 as amended by the 1962 Protocol, Convention on Psychotropic Substances, United Nations Convention Against Illicit Trafficking, Narcotic Drugs, and Psychotropic Substances 1980, and so many others, the Vienna Convention, and so on and so forth. And so what I'm saying and what the minority is saying simply is that we should follow through with this directive the president gave, which is to have a thorough and transparent investigation into this matter. I believe, and we believe, it is only when this investigation takes place that we will be in a position as a country to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of this claim, examine the evidence that will be put before the investigative panel, and come to the conclusion clearly of whether or not this allegation is true or not. And that, for me, will clear Ghana and put Ghana as a continued respected member of the international community. And that is indeed what should concern all of us as Ghanaians. And that's exactly the call we are making. Yes,
but you see, my question has to do with, it is okay to call for international community to come to...
I can very hardly hear you.
Is it any better?
A little.
Is it okay? So my question is, it's all right to invite international community to help us unravel mysteries and all of that. But the problem is, there is no mystery really. It's a mystery that you created, which mystery you have not provided any evidence to support. The fact that, and I noticed from your statements and also from all the commentaries from Honorable Reverend Tim Forjo, that you are latching onto the fact that there is a contrary claim by Fact Check Ghana, for instance, that the flight came straight from Gran Canaria and not from Luanda. Now, granted that that is even true, Phyllis Kwachu, whom I interviewed, which interview will be playing tonight on Face to Face on Channel 1 TV, he says, and so what? That's not the crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is that you have claimed that these two flights brought into the country cocaine and also money. You have not brought any evidence. They have brought documentary and video proof to show otherwise. So why are we, engaging in a wild goose chase? Making much ado about nothing.
Well, first of all, Maru, I will not engage in an investigation on radio, and I will not engage in an inquiry on radio. I'm not too sure, with the greatest of respect, that's the way to go. Secondly,
no, I'm not asking you to do investigation inquiry. Maybe provide evidence.
Hold on. Secondly, President Mahama, His Excellency President Mahama himself, called for a thorough and transparent investigation. He didn't even call, he directed that there should be a thorough and transparent investigation. Let me quote it. Government takes all allegations seriously, and to ensure a thorough and transparent investigation, I have directed all relevant investigative agencies, it goes on and including Narcotics Control Board. That's point number one. Point number two, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has called for an investigation and prosecution, if any, and I quote them, any allegation of such a case should be properly investigated and prosecuted, end quote. This is a call by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. And the President himself, the President himself has directed for a thorough and transparent investigations into this matter. Let us have that investigation. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for anything more. If after the investigation, the investigative panel comes forward and to say that the allegation is baseless, it has no foundation, Ghana's image will be cleared. But as it is now, the matter is still at large. There's not been any investigation conducted. The directive by the President has not been followed through, and it's important for the image of our country, and that is the perspective from which the Minority Caucus on the Foreign Relations Committee of Parliament is coming to this matter. We're required to ensure that Ghana's enviable reputation as a respected member of the international community, which does not condone any form of transnational crime such as illicit drug trade and money laundering, is dealt with conclusively. I think it's in the interest of our country, and that is why we've written to the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps to assist and cooperate with the Ghanaian investigative authorities to get us to get to the bottom of this matter, so Ghana's image will be restored. That's all we're asking for. Nothing more, nothing less.
Have you, by the way, contacted your colleague for Asin South and asked him to give you any video or pictorial evidence he has supporting this claim of his? Have you seen any evidence from him beyond what he said at the press conference?
But that's the point we are making. If you don't have an investigation conducted, how will you get evidence? I mean, for example,
no. I mean, there should be a reason. They say there's no smoke without fire. So where is your fire? For which reason you are seeing this smoke and asking us to call fire service? So why did the President
ask that investigation be
conducted?
Because
a member of Parliament, respected member of our Parliament, has said he has evidence to support this claim, and 2 weeks on, he has not provided any evidence to back this claim of his, at least not to us. And we are also told that he has not collaborated or supported or provided any support at all to these investigative agencies. So I'm asking you, as a person who is interested in this, for which reason you decided to write to the Dean of Diplomatic Corps. Has Honorable Ntim Fojo given you evidence or picture or documents, anything to prove that there was cocaine or money brought into this country, how much volume and all of that?
Mr. Sander, the matters to do with illicit drug trade, money laundering, transnational crimes are weighty matters. These are very, very serious matters. And I believe that this is why His Excellency the President rightly directed that investigations, thorough and transparent investigations, be conducted into this matter. These are very, very sophisticated kinds of crimes which are spearheaded by cartels. There have been situations where drug trafficking is happening in countries like the United States when the President is not even aware and when the U.S. authorities are unable to unravel them. It's happened in Europe. There have been several drug barons, drug cartels, who have been arrested in Mexico, who find their way out of prison and so on and so forth. And reputation is everything. And Ghana's reputation is at stake here. And which is why I believe His Excellency President Mahama rightly directed state investigative apparatus and institutions to investigate this matter.
Okay, very well.
We are saying very simply that this investigation is absolutely important for the image and reputation of the state of Ghana as a respected member of the international community. Let's just have that investigation. And when that investigation comes up, whatever evidence Mr. Ntim Fojo or anybody will have will be provided and need to be examined and tested, and conclusions will be drawn out of them.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That's Honorable Samuel Abdullah Jinapo. He's MP for Damongo. He's a ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Let's go to the Narcotics Control NARCOC. So the C is now what? It used to be a board. So it's Commission. Narcotics Control Commission, NARCOC. Mr. Chumberima is the Deputy Director. He's joined us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening, Omar. How are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
Excellent.
Has Reverend Intim Fojo been contacted by your office since the president issued the statement he issued? Has there been any discussions with him, or has there been any collaboration between you, NACOC, and the other sister agencies in this particular matter? I want you to share with us anything that may have happened since this information came public.
All right, thank you. It's my first time that you are interviewing me, so greetings to you and your cherished listeners. To be honest, I wasn't hearing what my colleague Senior Bujinapo was saying, but I think I love one question that you just posed to him at the latter part, and I'll commend you for that question. That there is no smoke without fire. So if you are telling us where, you should bring fire service, at least you should be able to direct us to where the smoke is coming from. I like that question.
I'll bring you an invoice for doing your work for you, sir. Anyway, so I'm not really asking you questions on what I've asked him or what he has said. I'll summarize for you what he said.
I didn't hear his answer, but I was not hearing him. I could only hear you. Right?
Yeah. I'll summarize for you what he said, and maybe if you want to comment on it, you can. But I wanted generally to know what NACOC's involvement has been in this issue since it became public last 2 weeks.
That's fine. So what I can say on record is that prior to any information from Honorable Inti Fojo, Narcotics Control Commission had conducted our search as Honorable Felix Fosukwati made it known. We have played our role as far as that aircraft, which he showed Ghanaians, was concerned. We've done our work, done our search, and our report was negative. Negative in this sense means that there was nothing odd or bad on it, such as the cocaine or whatever that Honorable Inti Fojo was talking about was found. Nothing of that sort was found on the aircraft. As far as narcotics is concerned, our report shows or will show negative. On the other hand, since he communicated to Ghanaians in one way or the other, and since the directive of the president, we were supposed to have collaborated, or you were supposed to collaborate with him, so far as this whole thing is concerned. But unfortunately, I watched your interview with him among others, and the kind of posture that he has positioned himself that he is not going to appear before us. Rather, he rather wrote a letter to the chair of the Committee on Interior and Defense that we should rather appear before them or appear before the committee and brief them on the feedbacks or the happenings of this aircraft, among other matters. But I think that reasonably that is not the right approach or the procedure to have gone, because if I allege that something has happened to me, let's say in my house, and I go to the police station or I report maybe to the media, and the police says that we need you to come and collaborate with us. It is on to me to walk to the police, to give them every information that I have. Then it's also on to them to also do their investigations, whether or not to establish my point, and then take the appropriate action. But unfortunately, a member of parliament, not just a member of parliament, someone who is the ranking member of Interior and Defense, committee, or subcommittee, whichever name they call it. This person is not someone that should even wait for security operatives or whatever to call him that, hey, come and give us information. When he knows very well that where he sits or where he sits as the ranking member, he has access to the National Security Coordinator. He has access to the Director General of Narcotics Control Commission, to myself as Deputy Director General in charge of operations, to the BNI Director or now NIB Director. Name them, all these agencies and institutions, alongside his own friend and colleague, Honorable Muntaka, who is our minister. But unfortunately, our brother couldn't relate to any of these parties. I wish he had even said that, when I got the information or the intel, I called the Minister of Interior. He didn't respond to me. I called the National Security Coordinator. He failed to respond to me. These are the evidence to it. And that is why maybe I came out to say whatever. Sadly, we didn't get any of this. But the only thing that we are getting is that our MP is doing, public examinations, feeding the public with information that he thinks that the security operatives should have known. He's asking us to go and do investigation about something that he only has access to, and is unwilling to give to us. Now, what I even saw yesterday, very early this morning, was I think a program that he attended yesterday. That he's saying that he's now showing us the aircraft, the routes that the aircraft took or might have taken. My brother, do we care about that? We don't care about that. What we care about is the illicit thing that you are talking about, which is against our laws. Money laundering is against our laws. Illicit drugs are also against our laws. So those are the things that we are interested in, that we will need to fight it. This morning I asked a question. That looking at the fact that you have refused to give us this information that you think you have. We are not God, so we can't see every corner of this country. So we don't doubt that you will have an information that we may not have. But respectfully, I'm asking, in case, or assuming it is true that something really happened, some people, let's assume some people came for some cocaine or whatever and took it away or brought it on board. Those people should have been apprehended or should be apprehended. Due to your failure to give us the details of those people, and you having gone public, reading your stories and telling the whole country, do you think those people will be there today waiting for us to come and apprehend them? Don't you think these actions that you have taken must, stampede or prevent our investigation to get to a proper root of the matter? Do you think you are really helping the nation from what you are doing? And like you said,
you sound frustrated, Deputy Director General.
Sorry, please, I didn't get your question.
I'm saying you sound frustrated by what has happened.
I am not frustrated, but you see, I wish, excuse my language to say, an ordinary person would have done this and not him. Because of where he sits. That committee that he is there, he is part as a ranking member. It's my committee. That is my agency's committee. I have appeared before them before. Okay? So I wish that Honorable Intim Ford would have done something better than what he has done. If you are talking about intelligence, NACOP is an intelligence organization. We don't just communicate. We communicate based on fact and evidence. Cases that we have made known to the public or to the media in the last few days since we took office, there are cases that they are, evidence-based. The suspects are there, the exhibits or whatever things are there. So we can speak to it factually.
Okay.
What about yours?
Fine. So you're worried that he didn't come forward with the information. No problem. How about you inviting him to come and give you the information? Have you, as NACOC, not as a general security agencies, but just you as NACOC, have you either called him, texted him, or written to him?
No, NACOC as an institution, personally, have not done that. But what I knew, or what I know is that the National Security Coordinator was coordinating the agencies that the President cited. Okay? That are supposed to come together and do the investigations. The National Security Coordinator was coordinating these agencies to ensure that the investigation will commence and then go through. But not dealing with him from individual positions. For instance, maybe BNI will call you and then NACOC will call you separate. No. The National Security Coordinator was coordinating all these agencies to ensure that, any directive that is given will be done accordingly.
He said that he was not invited. The Honorable Felix Kwachi said he was invited through his leader, the Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin.
Yeah.
The Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin said that he spoke for and on behalf of his committee, it wasn't his personal opinion. So what happens next? Now that it appears you want him to provide you the information, he's not providing it. Can NACOC or any of the agencies use any other means to get this information? Because, like you said, it's important that we deal with the matter.
Of course. This morning I said something on one of your sister stations, and I said that if you continue to tell the very line that he's told, he will leave us with no option than to go for him. That is to get him arrested, because you are refusing to come to us. We have communicated through a channel to get to you or to invite you. You said you have not been invited. You said on other platforms also that you are not going to even appear if you should even call you. The other time he was on Joy last Saturday, the news file, Joy News file, and together with my brother Sami Gemfi, he was even asking Sami Gemfi to call the DNI or the National Security to come and arrest him on the show because for him he's not ready to come, and so on and so forth. So,
but can you under what authority can you go and arrest him? Can you, as NACOC, arrest someone because
not NACOC as an institution, but like I said, this is not just a matter of NACOC. It's a matter for the entire national security. And the national security coordinates all the security agencies within this country, that operate within this country. So if he is to be arrested, he will not be arrested by NACOC, but he will be arrested by the appropriate agency. Even though NACOC has the powers of arrest, but he wouldn't be arrested by NACOC.
Moving forward,
yes.
The other claim he has made is that the bust that happened on the way to Amasaman, nothing has come out of it. The cocaine bust that happened
on the way to what? Amasaman. Is it the central region one?
No, the town name is not coming readily to my.
Is it Pedu?
Sapema on the way Amasaman beyond Amasaman.
Oh, the Sapema one was it cocaine? Was it not the stash man that the national security found?
He said that because that national security claim has still not been proven and no further evidence has been given, well, he can't trust anything that you see as national security now.
And this is serious. So for a ranking member to be saying this thing, I mean, what kind of ranking is he given there?
Be careful. Be careful. There's something called parliamentary privilege. They have a committee. They will drag you there. So be careful the word to use.
But at least even for any time, a lawyer, and there's no way I will say anything negative about it. But my point is that as a leader, or as someone who is part of the leadership of parliament, and you are not just a leader of parliament or a member of the leadership, you are on the committee that committee has these agencies under. And I think we don't even trust the agencies to be doing their work. Investigations are not done in a day. I have been a police officer before. Investigations are not done in a day. Okay? So, if something happened about a month or two ago, in your opinion, investigations should have been concluded by now. But if you look at the video that we saw, those containers were not moved in a day to the day that they were arrested. It tells you it's been there for some time. The reasonable question is, why wasn't your government smart enough to arrest them or to get them? What happened? Is it because you are aware? Is it because, you knew those who were behind it? That is why you didn't go after? Or your intelligence were not acting, straight enough or straight enough? Why? What happened? Okay? So, we need to understand something. All these matters are under investigation. I saw his letter that he was citing. He cited that case that you just mentioned, and also cited the arrest that we made in the central region on that 350 million cocaine, and also cited the aircraft matter, asking that we should appear before the committee and come and brief them on it. But on the other hand, the matter, the instance where you said you were even speaking for and on behalf of your committee, committee chair said no, you are not speaking for them. You're not speaking for them. If the committee is supposed to say anything, they will have a means of communicating to Ghanaians. Since then, Honorable James Agaga is the chairman of that Defense and Interior Committee. Have you ever heard him saying anything to corroborate whatever thing that Interior has been saying? Which would indicate that at least this is the committee's position? No. So I disagree with him if he says that whatever he's saying, he was doing so for and on behalf of his committee. I don't think so. But like I said, matters that concerns investigations are still ongoing. The Pedu Junction or the Central Region case on the cocaine is still under investigations. The Supplement one is also under investigation. The rest that he thinks that he has certain information that we don't have, it is on to him to give us what we need than to stop and then than to be going to the public and giving his news or his information out there without giving it to the appropriate institution to act. Now that his colleague is even asking for other international, what do you call it? Is it foreign missions or what something?
Yes, to come in and help.
Foreign missions. So now we should go and call Zimbabwe embassy to come and help us to do investigation. What kind of life is this?
Let's leave it here. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you, bro.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Google me. At what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
Go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Sawudru krum now yes charcoal toothpaste aya no ya hwe yie no bi amfa so kwan na no wachenchena esane say charcoal toothpaste bebre ane wodwa so nanso nya ni nyina na yema wo sen titru mpo ni se wo nyini no bon ho modin se wo beto charcoal toothpaste a ye di bidia nkasa ye na anya dai kekene ade agumu na wo de yin keka wa firusi mu na wo se anya hoden na se efita to charcoal toothpaste fluoride ewo mu na bo se ho ban na mana ye din da ekosi se obaba akokora na sa abrewa Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste dear what dibidie lemon mint ana zinc ana akabomu aye enti ma wo se ye din na wonum so ehwam de mu ni nyina Pepsodent dear yenim no dada o enti wasan de bidie lemon ene mint akabomu aye dear ene na kire se yesen adamfo no ebem wonum ayehwam na bo se ho ban afiri kikawa bia mu to Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste fetwi usin na mo se ho ban abrebia.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do more stories. A group of unpaid local government staff has petitioned 4 government institutions over the non-payment of salaries for 17 months. The institutions are the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, and the Ministry of Local Government Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. The group has expressed frustration, stating that several attempts to secure payment have been unsuccessful. Speaking to Citi News, one member who wished to remain anonymous urged the institutions to take swift action and ensure that their salaries are paid.
The truth of the matter is that some of our colleagues, we work for more than 1 year. We have not received our salary. So we are just here to petition to the authority to help us. So we are just presenting petition to those 4 key ministries to also put their money in it and plead on our behalf so that our colleagues will be settled. Because some of us are going through a lot. That is it, Mama. For now, when we went, they said they are working on it. They are working on it, so we should take our time. So we should take our time. That's all that they have been telling us all of this one. That they are working on it, so we should take our time. Today when we were, they said they will work on it. So we should give them a few time. They are working seriously to appoint the Minister of Finance to see how they can solve our issue with us. So we are still pleading. But the issue is that we are not here to accuse anybody. We are here to just plead. They should come to our aid and help us. So that is it. Most of our colleagues are going through a lot.
You heard a member of the unpaid local government staff speaking to Citi News on condition of anonymity.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios here in Accra. Now, there's a letter that I'm looking at, suspension of the grant of contract appointment. The letter is dated 2nd April 2025 on the letterhead of the Office of the President and signed by Dr. Callistus Mahama, Secretary to the President. And it says the grant of post-retirement contract appointments to retired public service staff has been suspended with immediate effect. Consequently, all requests for such appointments will no longer be considered. Kindly take note of this directive and ensure strict compliance. So let's understand what this means and what the consequence is. I'm going to speak to someone who understands governance issues. Professor Bafo Ajimendua is a governance analyst. I do not have him on the line, I'm told. I will try and re-establish connection with him to understand what this means to our governance structure, what the consequence really is. But that story has also been published on our website, and there are further details that have been provided. And it was a directive by the President's Secretary, and it was not addressed to anybody necessarily. It looks like an announcement to the public, a circular, which means that if you retired and you wanted a contract extension, you will not get that. Let me go. Do I have him on the line? Prof, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me? Professor Bafo Ajimendua, can you hear me? I'm afraid I do not have him. Let me try and re-establish connection to him. Prof, can you hear me?
The line is rough.
It's rough. Give me a second. I'm just going to try and do some quick movement. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Awesome. So my question is, first of all, I do know that there's a provision where if you retire at 60, you are given contract extension of 2 years times 2 plus 1, totaling 5.
You're lying.
Can you hear me?
No, it dropped.
It drops.
Hello?
Yes. Is it better now, sir?
Let me move myself a bit.
This is Eyewitness News.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yes, I do.
Great.
Speak louder.
Okay, I'll try. My question is that we do know that there's a provision where if people retire, they are given up to 5 years contract extension. Do you mind sharing with us what the rationale behind that particular extension is? Because I believe that is what the President Secretary is talking about in this communication.
Yeah, I think, as you know, the Constitution requires all public servants to retire at age 60. But at the same time, at times it becomes necessary for a government, because of the special needs or qualifications or expertise of certain people due for retirement, the government may extend or add a few more years for that person to serve the government. But I think in many ways that has been abused over the years. Because as you know, there are a lot of young people, capable, qualified, also waiting to assume leadership responsibilities in the public sector. So by so doing, I think we've been blocking the chances for such individuals to assume leadership roles. So I think the president's decision to curtail or to ban that kind of extension, I think it's a good move. Nonetheless, we must also understand that in some cases, a retiring person may still possess certain, qualities or skills that perhaps we may find it difficult to replace immediately. So I think we have to make that option always open for government to exercise that kind of option if they are faced with the situation of a retiring person.
So this is actually a privilege, not necessarily a right, so people cannot claim it as a matter of right.
It is a privilege indeed. But over the years, I think some people, some political authorities have made it look like it's normal. It's something that they have a right to. No, it's not. Mandatory retirement is age 60, period. They don't say if or but. But, as I say, because occasionally it is necessary to extend someone's appointment because of the special skills and knowledge and experience that they have, I think that must be maintained. As I say, that privilege has been abused by political authorities simply by using politics to judge whether or not such individuals must stay or go. And that's why I think that issue has become contentious. Other than that, I think it is quite understandable that once you hit age 60, you simply have to pack and go.
Oh, okay, now the clause that you talked about, where some persons may have some skills that would require that they continue to serve in office, could possibly be the reason that the framers of the Constitution or the law decided to add that provision. Now, this statement from the presidency is a blanket directive suspending all such extensions. So I would presume then that you do not think it should have been a blanket announcement, but it should have been a case-by-case basis.
That's correct. Perhaps the president is being overwhelmed by the number of requests coming from all angles, requesting or pleading for extension for this or other reasons. And I think perhaps because the president feels overwhelmed by that, the right decision then is simply issue that blanket statement. So I can understand that. Again, in politics, in governance, you can also not rule out completely the political lenses that at times is used in making certain kinds of decisions. But making that kind of blanket statement, banning such things, I think the president has been quite progressive in terms of not discriminating because of political reasons. This one, he says, if you are retired, please, we are not going to extend it. So that will cut across political parties and all groups, you know. So I think in that respect, I find it quite laudable that the president did that. But again, I don't know whether perhaps this president doesn't see a need for any special skills or experiences or knowledge that the departing retiree, any of the departing retirees may have. If he thinks he can replace all of them at once because he has been able to identify qualified people for all such positions, then that is all right. But as I say, I really do not know if that is really possible.
But could there be other reasons? So it's possible that, of course, you in doing this, then you prevent other party members from continuing to stay in office. But could it also be that, you know, paying public servants is already a big deal? We do know the public wage bill is so huge.
That's a very good point, yes.
Yes.
I think it's a very good point you are making. That is the financial side. Because I believe if you keep these people beyond the age, I suspect strongly their package of remuneration changes. And that adds to the public exchequer. So perhaps there's also financial angle to this decision, but that may not be as prominent, in my view, as the other reasons we have already discussed.
All the reasons notwithstanding, would you say we should just scrap it in totality so that henceforth you retire at 60 and you retire at 60, you go home? That's all. You don't have to be given a contract extension, because maybe many decades ago we would say that there aren't many skilled people in a certain field. But now we do have so many skilled people in all fields, don't we?
No, I think there must be room for presidents to make some exemptions, you know, because it's not always that you get the person you want for a particular task. Of course, you can also have an option there, because if in fact you are so talented, retiring at 60 is not acceptable to the system, then you can be engaged on a consultancy basis to provide that kind of service, in which case you can be removed from the public service list and be classified as a consultant and be paid as such. That is to say that if there's a real need for a retiring person to be retained, then by and large, I think if the public service is well organized, they should be able to monitor those due for retirement maybe 5 years ahead, and preparation should be made for new persons, younger people who are also approaching that kind of age category to be ready for replacing such individuals. I don't know if such a system exists, but my point is that, sure, we should try to keep the mandatory retirement as best as we can to enable younger people to also have the opportunity to lead. But at the same time, where it's crucially important that you retain somebody. That retention can be done on a different engagement framework.
Finally, and related to that, in the early days of this government, there was lots of brouhaha around the termination of contracts of persons who were appointed in the so-called midnight appointments after December 7. It happened in 2017. It has happened in 2025. Do you think we should have a law that bans new governments from sacking people who were appointed by old governments, or a law that bans outgoing governments from making appointments after December 7? Where do you think the solution can be?
This has been a perennial challenge for governments coming in and going out. I'm personally aware of situations where an outgoing government will accept requests by retiring personnel to be given 2 years or so to stay on. But whenever the new government comes, they discover that, they quickly take you out, especially if you are heading any of these strategic state institutions, Get Fund and other kinds of institutions that we have. So that has no sense, because normally an incoming government may have their own plans. They may have identified.
Prof, I'm actually referring to people who are recruited, mostly young people who are recruited last minute by the outgoing government, not necessarily CEOs or heads of department and agencies.
As for those who are quickly recruited before leaving office, I think, again, that could be a part of the problem. But I think there's a need for national conversation on that, maybe among the political elites, because certainly we don't want to burden an incoming government with certain undesirables. And I use the word undesirable advisedly. I'm not talking in terms of politically undesirable, but especially if the people are known not to be good performers in the roles that they've already been given. And even at times, politically, you may not want your opponent to be occupying such a position. So let's put it this way. From what we have observed since this republic, I think we must redefine how outgoing governments govern towards the last 2 months or so before their departure, before elections, I should say, so that you do not encumber an incoming government with any burden of making tough decisions about displacing people, because that is not pleasant for those who are displaced. But at the moment, there are no hard rules about that particular circumstance. So departing governments can make certain appointments in all sectors of the public service. And that has created problems for incoming government. That's why I think it's about time we really sort to redefine how a departing government should behave towards the last few weeks of departure, so that we can have it for all, we can standardize it, so that any government that is about to leave will know by law that you can do A but not do B. I think that will be more refined for the way and smoother for governance of the public sector.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
That's Bye-bye. Professor Bafo Ajimandia. He's a governance analyst. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra. Let's travel across the world now. We have Ghanaian students that students that we have sent on scholarship, government scholarship. They have created a coalition of Ghana scholars abroad. And the group is calling or appealing to the government to prioritize the timely disbursement of monthly stipends and allowance for Ghanaian students studying abroad. The affected students are in Algeria, Morocco, that's in Africa. Then we have Cuba in South America. Then we have Russia in Asia and Europe. Depends on how you look at it. According to the coalition, the students have not received stipends for over 11 months. In addition, book and health allowance has remained unpaid for 2 consecutive academic years, causing severe financial hardship for many who rely heavily on these funds to meet their basic needs. Let's go first to Cuba and speak to one of the students. You're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Kanda.
11 months, no stipends, nothing. How do your monies come to you? By the way, who pays to you, and what has been happening all this while?
So, as of now, very terrible things have been happening because even a month without stipends is a hell. To talk of 11 months, but in our situation, we have been out of stipends for 9 months. Every minute, 10 months.
Sorry, I don't understand. I don't get a point.
So the point I'm trying to make is, we students in Cuba have been out of stipend for the past 9 months. And then any of this April month makes it the 10th month without stipend.
Okay, so what's
we've been out of book allowance for the past 4 years.
For the past 4 years?
Without book allowance.
What, the government said it will be giving you book allowance?
Yes, I think we are supposed to be giving, per the contract, we are supposed to be giving you book allowance yearly. And in 4 years without book allowance, 10 months without stipend.
And these are
for students in Cuba.
And these are students in what professions or fields of study?
Health, medical students.
So doctors.
Medical students.
You are training to be doctors.
Exactly.
And you don't get book allowance, which means the books you used to study, which you want to buy, the government has not given you money to buy them for the past 4 years. So what textbooks have you been reading?
So, because of the government's inability or incapability to provide us with the needed resources and money to get this book, we tend to depend on other books provided by the institution, our various institutions. But of course, it's very crucial for us to get the needed books, for us to buy books online from Amazon to help us in our respective subjects.
Okay, so the books, you may find your way around it. What about the stipend, which I believe is what you're supposed to use to buy food? And we do know that living in Cuba is very difficult.
Yes, exactly. Living in Cuba is very difficult, even with stipend. So living in Cuba without stipend for the past 11 months has made majority of it to be borrowing. We've been borrowing from our colleagues from other countries, other international students here. If I'm to give myself as an example, I've been borrowing money from friends. As of now, I find it difficult go attending lectures because I owe a lot of people. So I'm always hiding, getting my way through lectures, and I have to run from lectures most of the time. So the situation is very bad. The situation here is very bad. That's why we want to.
Unfortunately,
take this opportunity to.
Unfortunately for you, you don't have quick loan. So I mean, how you are indebted to what amount? I mean, how? And these people who gave you the loans, who are they? Your students, your college students from Ghana or from other countries?
They are friends from other countries. I have few friends from other countries that lend me money in such situations, and the amount has accumulated for a long time. So if you have to tell you, have to declare the amount I'm owing now, it will be mind blowing. It will be mind blowing. The government released 2 months package to us few weeks ago. But that 2 months package, I just use them to pay my debt.
Okay, my last question: what is the medium of communication between the government? Who is the interface, or what is the interface, and what have they told you since?
So
or what are they telling you?
Ideally, our leadership, our student leaders are those who get in touch with our founders, who get in touch with Ghana Scholarship Secretariat. And for some time now, they've been trying their possible best to get in touch to no avail. They try getting in touch with the new.
Sorry, I lost the gentleman. He's a Ghanaian student in Cuba on government scholarship. They've not been paid their book and research allowances, and they've also not been given their stipends. That's Cuba. In the UK, I just received this information from one of the students who says, my brother, 11 months unpaid stipend is by far a lesser burden. In the UK, some of us on the PhD program have been owed for nearly 20 months. Some even more. It's horrendous. And he has added an artwork they did of a demonstration. So it's titled Demonstration, April 17th, 2025. Beneficiaries of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat in the UK to stage a massive demonstration on the streets of London. Press home our demand for unpaid stipends and tuition. Come join us for this noble cause. For more information, contact Pius and Kojo. And they have this flyer in circulation. So they have a demonstration on 17th April in London. These are Ghanaian students there on scholarship who are not being taken care of. Let's go to Morocco. Hello, sir. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, Citi FM in Accra. What is your story in Morocco?
Good evening. Thank you. It's 7:30 p.m. here. I would like to extend my greetings to your listening. So, as you heard, it's very true. We've been here in Morocco. We've been here for 12 months without stipends, and life has become unbearable. I don't know which word I should use, but it is unbearable here. Students are not able to afford even transportation to school. And this has not started only this year. It has started long time ago, since last year. I mean, if you look at the number of months we've been without payment, you can tell that it didn't just start this year. We've been here for 12 months without payment. So, life is difficult here.
What kind of payments are you expecting? Which payments are not coming?
So, on our contract, we are to receive monthly stipends, and then also yearly we are to receive book and health allowance. So, for the book and health allowance, in Morocco for 2 years, we've not received it. For Cuba, for 4 years, they've not received their book and health allowance. And then Algeria, 2 years, they've not received it. So right now, we are expecting to receive our stipends, and then for Morocco, book and health allowance for 2 academic years.
You have no...
Indeed, we also don't have. Apologies for that. Thank you for speaking to us. Frustration everywhere in Morocco, in Algeria, in the UK, in Cuba. Cubans are suffering, Moroccans are suffering, Algerians are suffering, Russians are suffering, Accraians are also suffering. This is 97.3 Citi FM Eyewitness News. We'll be back. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
That's a lie. He's calling you from a guest house in Asylum Down.
Please, an SMS was delivered across to our customers this morning. Didn't you receive any SMS, or you haven't checked?
The truth is that he's a scammer.
Please kindly cross-check your message to be sure about this, because your account requires an update.
This is where they play games with your mind.
Without you updating, you won't be able to access your account for any transaction, either outgoing or incoming.
Your bank or service provider will never call or text asking you to update your account or verify sensitive information like your PIN, Ghana card, or bank card details. Looks can be deceiving. Pay better attention to details to avoid getting scammed. For more information, visit www.ecobank.com. EcoBank, a better way, a better Africa. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Gasaba. Smoke from firewood and charcoal is harmful and as damaging to our lungs as cigarettes. It can cause heart diseases, leading to stroke, and may even affect our eyesight in the long run. Grandmothers, mothers, sisters, wives, men, caterers, and everyone still cooking with charcoal, let's switch to LPG gas. The National Petroleum Authority has introduced the cylinder recirculation model in collaboration with local partners to make gas more accessible in all local communities. Whether you own a cylinder or not, join our CRM initiative. Simply show up at any exchange point near you with a small down payment to receive a filled cylinder or swap your empty one. Regular safety checks will be in place. Say ebisa musemo gas. Afedie gasaba. Switch from firewood and charcoal to gas for a better and healthier life. This message is brought to you by the National Petroleum Authority and the Ministry of Energy.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Inu Safa. Let's settle for the details. Only 37% of businesses in Ghana currently accept or use digital payments, with the agricultural sector recording the lowest level of adoption. This is according to a new report on the adoption of digital financial services by business firms in Ghana, jointly released by Refined and the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, with support from the Ghana Statistical Service. In a media interview, Director of ISA, Professor Peter Korte, noted that most businesses that use digital payment systems continue to rely on costly personal mobile money accounts rather than more efficient merchant services.
Digital payments are quite important, that we all want to move from the cash-based economy to a cash-light economy, and we've seen how it plays out. We've seen the number of firms that engage in digital payments, and we've realized that the majority of the firms are small firms rather than large firms. Female-owned enterprises tend to do better, but then they do better when the firms are actually owned by men. But when females manage, they tend to do better. Unfortunately, adoption by females tend to be lower. And in fact, there's also a spatial dimension across the globe. We've seen as low as 7% in Kenya, and in Ethiopia, Egypt, and other places tends to be slightly higher. So we need to encourage females to use digital payments. There are a number of reasons why adoption is low. One is the uncertainty in the business environment. There's also the cost element, and then taxation and a few other constraints limits the ability to adopt digital payment. But overall, I think it's one of the surest means of including the unbanked in financial services.
That was the director of the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, delivering the keynote address on behalf of the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana. The Director of FinTech and Innovation, Kwame Opong, emphasized that the findings will play a critical role in shaping policies aimed at deepening financial inclusion.
Ghana Demand-Side Survey recorded remarkable levels of financial inclusion of 68% and 95% respectively. Despite the progress made in financial inclusion, challenges persist, evidenced by the widening gender gap and the limited access by MSMEs. SMEs contribute the majority of businesses in Ghana with a sizable women ownership, yet most of them are not well integrated into the digital space, thereby preventing them from harnessing the full potential of digital financial services to boost growth. Taking a step back, using the lens of research to evaluate the impact of digital payment policies on SMEs, it is necessary to identify success as well as challenges to reform policies and implementation approaches for desired impact. It is for this reason that the report produced under this initiative is timely and necessary. I have no doubt that the findings and recommendations from this research will inform policy, help target resources in a more efficient manner.
That was the Director of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana, Kwame Opong. The Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, has reaffirmed government's commitment to creating an enabling environment for domestic manufacturers to thrive through policy support, market access, and job creation initiatives. She argues that this will ensure Ghanaians increase their patronage of products manufactured by locally based companies. Speaking to the media after she paid a working visit to Olam Agri's grains factory at Pong, the minister said the consumption of goods produced in Ghana will play a significant role in strengthening the city and ensuring Ghana's complete economic recovery.
I keep telling importers, if we buy from local manufacturers, the scale will go up, they will manufacture more, their prices will come down, and we will not have any burden at the port. Because if you are buying from here, you are not paying duty. Cost of freight, cost of insurance are all out of it. And some of the things that they are producing here are of high quality. People should patronize what we produce here. Ghanaians must patronize made in Ghana goods. If the products are made in Ghana, standards are high. If we buy from them, scale will go up. Then our economy will be strong, our city will be stable. That's the only way we can make Ghana greater and stronger. And so I am happy with Olam. We will continue to encourage them, we will continue to assist them so that they are able to upskill and even do more for the country, especially in the area of creating the needed job for our teams.
Elizabeth Fuswejar is the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. The country head of Olam Agri, Baibov Biswas, called on the government to provide tax concessions to local manufacturers to enable them to scale up their operations.
Returns cannot happen if the playing field is not correct, which is that a manufacturer versus a trader versus importer. So you need to, if somebody is investing in a local manufacturing setup, he has to be given certain support from the government so that slowly there's a gradual reduction in importation. So you do an import substitution with local manufacturing, which leads to local employment, local quality products, local sourcing of raw materials. So we need support in the form of, say, concession on importation, on tariffs like electricity, water, quality and quantity of supply, and of course the taxation.
Country head of Olam Agri by Bav Biswas. Now, players within Ghana's agricultural value chain are calling on the government to ensure a well-coordinated and adequately resourced implementation of the Feed Ghana program. The initiative, which forms part of broader efforts to enhance food security and job creation, is receiving increased attention from key industry players who believe its success hinges on strong policy direction, timely input supply, and stakeholder engagement. Speaking to Citi Business News, President of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Wapia Awal Adugwala, stressed the need for government to go beyond the announcement and ensure consistency in support for farmers.
The ministry should work closely with farmer-based organizations. There should be regular stakeholder engagement for us to see how we can implement this program together. There should be input support as we anticipate from government, and the input support should come on time. So there should be a departure from the planting for food and jobs where normally if the inputs are even coming, they don't come on time. Because farming, in farming, we are dealing with time. And if you look at most of our farmers, they are doing rain-fed agriculture, which means we depend a lot on the weather. We are also expected to see the farmer resource centers where we have access to mechanization services. All these should be made available.
You heard President of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Wapia Awal Adugwala. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Inosafo. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Go me. Now, what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, you go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I'll go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they boss my mind said be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Pepper Jawo, Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa, Sankofa, Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa, Sankofa, Sankofa pepper powder. Abuna bunu abonje krakra, Sankofa pepper powder. Sankofa pepper powder. Jawo.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandamadu. Today, President John Dramani Mahama hosted the president of Czech or Czechoslovakia. And he expressed concerns over the decision by the United States of America to impose tariffs on imports from all countries, including Ghana. The move announced by the U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday, April 2, 2025, follows an executive order citing the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977. President Mahama, during the visit, when he hosted the Czech President Petr Pavel, criticized the approach by the U.S., stressing on the negative impact such unilateral actions can have on global trade relations. He noted that the absence of a trade-based system to guide these decisions undermines fairness and poses severe implications for countries like Ghana. Let's listen to President John Dramani Mahama.
It's indeed an honor for me to welcome the President of the Czech Republic, His Excellency Petr Pavel, who's on a 3-day state visit to Ghana. I also acknowledge the rest of the high-level delegation that accompanied him from the Czech Republic. This visit marks another milestone in the long-standing cordial relations that exist between our two countries and reaffirm the political, economic, and cultural cooperation that lie at the heart of Ghana's diplomatic engagement with the Czech Republic. Our two countries share deep respect for democratic values and governance and human rights, and by nurturing these shared principles, we can engage in fruitful dialogue, exchange best practices, and foster mutual understanding. In our bilateral discussions this afternoon, we acknowledge the cordial and long-standing relations that have existed between Ghana and the Czech Republic, which date back to 1961, when we opened diplomatic missions in our respective countries, and have been reinforced over the decades through the exchange of high-level visits and opening of resident missions in our capitals. We also signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Political Consultation, a bilateral air services agreement, also known as Air Transport Agreement between Ghana and the Czech Republic. It is our hope that the implementation of these MOUs will reinvigorate and spearhead cooperation in various sectors between our two countries. In addition, we discussed the need to expand the frontiers of our relations and cooperation with the Czech Republic, both at the bilateral and multilateral levels. At the bilateral level, note was taken of potential for trade and economic cooperation. I'll therefore urge the private sectors of the two countries to come together to explore possible avenues for cooperation in various sectors of the Ghanaian economy. And I'm happy to note that tomorrow there's a business roundtable between Ghanaian and Czech businessmen. On trade, we noted that through trade and investment, this can serve as a bedrock of our economic relations, and more could be done to increase the low levels of trade between our two countries. In that regard, I noted that the African market has a population of over 1.3 billion people, and I extended an invitation to the business community in the Czech Republic to partner with their Ghanaian counterparts to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. At the multilateral level, I noted the long-standing and excellent tradition of cooperation between our two countries at various international fora, including the United Nations and expressed the desire for such cooperation to continue. This includes voting on issues that are of concern to both of us, but also to support each other's candidates that are vying for international positions. In that regard, I called on Czech to support our candidature of Ambassador Mohamed Adam to the position of Secretary General of the United Nations Tourism Organization, and reciprocally for us to support Czech Republic for membership of the Security Council. I assured President Petr Pavel of my confidence in Ambassador Adams' ability to lead and cooperate with his colleagues to bring on board a strategic vision for the UN Tourism Organization. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I went on to commend the government of the Czech Republic for supporting Ghana's healthcare sector through VAMED health projects and the construction of 12 40-bed capacity hospitals and 12 units of 2-bedroom semi-detached houses for hospital staff for the following beneficiary communities in Ghana: Jumapo, Kwabin, Nkwetia, Achiase, Swami, Drobonso, Sabronum, Manson Kwanta, Edukrom, Mim, Chidie, and Pong Katamanso. I raised the issue of the 50 Bridges project, which has been stalled by the debt exchange program. I urged our two countries to explore ways of re-engineering the project to complete the 50 Bridges program and also implement the second phase of 100 bridges. Furthermore, I acknowledge the continuous support of the Czech government led program of medical cooperation, which is commonly known as Medivac, which is aimed at providing healthcare to vulnerable groups, as well as the exchange of medical expertise and knowledge transfer. On the situation in the Sahel and Western African sub-region as a whole, President Pavel was briefed on the security situation and the measures being taken at the level of ECOWAS and the AU to address the issue of terrorism, violent extremism, and the return of military rule in the sub-region, and to restore normalcy to the affected countries. I added that Ghana is resolute in the fight against transnational threats and the promotion of regional peace and security, and welcomed the support of the Czech Republic in that regard. On the issue of climate change, Ghana and Czech Republic acknowledge that climate change stands as one of the most formidable challenges of our time that require collective action. We share a deep concern for the environment and recognize the urgency to combat climate change and mitigate its adverse effects. We agree that our institutions of state, academia, and business community must collaborate closely, leveraging our collective expertise and resources to adopt innovative solutions, promote renewable energy, and implement climate-friendly policies. We also discussed cooperation by the Czech Republic and Ghana in responsible mining, land reclamation, and cleaning of polluted waters, and introducing new sustainable mining practices to Ghana's small-scale sector. On the issue of vocational and technical training, I introduced the Ghana Labor Export Program to train youth in to international proficiency to be able to work on fixed terms abroad, and sought cooperation with Czech Republic for vocational training. I also noted that it was cooperation between the Czech Republic and the Defense Industries Holding Company, DEHOC, that led to the revamping of the Kumasi shoe factory. We therefore discussed the possibility of further cooperation between DEHOC and the Czech private sector to go into more industries for mutual benefit. Following our meeting this afternoon, I am hopeful that the outcomes of our fruitful discussions and the business forum tomorrow will contribute to deepening the relations that exist between Ghana and the Czech Republic in all areas of endeavor for the mutual benefit of our two peoples. I wish Your Excellency Petr Pavel and your delegation a very fruitful stay in Accra, and I thank you for your kind attention. I just also wish to add that our Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Trade held a session with the U.S. Ambassador to clarify what the implications of the tariff are for Ghana particularly. And I think in the next few days, the Minister of Foreign Affairs will release a statement on what the implications of those tariffs are. But I just join His Excellency to say that we all accepted a rule-based trading system, and it has served the world well because it has led to quite significant growth in GDP across the world. It is unfortunate that without resorting to the rules-based system, one country unilaterally decides to increase tariffs across board on all countries. Ghana got slapped with 10%, which is the lowest in the tariffs that were rolled out. But a country like Lesotho got slapped with 46%. And if you understand that one of the largest contributors to Lesotho's economy is the trade and garments industry, export under AGOA to United States, then you can be sure that it's going to affect a small country like Lesotho. Many of the factories that have set up there might look for areas where they can receive cheaper tariffs, to be able to continue to export into the American market. So it has very severe implications for everybody. And I believe that a multilateral world serves us all better than unilateral world, where people just take decisions based on only their country's interests. We must look at the broader global partnerships and the global interests rather than just our parochial national interests.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now we'll take a question from
developing them for restarting them.
Yes, this actually came up in our discussion, and it was a key issue that we talked about. There were ongoing projects that were part of our bilateral cooperation, which were affected by the debt exchange because of Ghana's debt default. Ghana, in record time, was able to renegotiate our debts. And so we have completed the discussions with our bilateral creditors and with the Paris Club. And so what is left for us to do now is for the Ministry of Finance to open bilateral discussions on how those particular projects continue after the discussion of the debt. But bearing in mind also that Ghana is under an IMF program, and there's a cap of $250 million that we have to fit all those projects in. And if you look at all those projects, they far exceed 250 million. If we are taking them 250 million at a time, according to the finance minister, it will take us the next 50 years to finish all those projects. So we must also look at alternative means of financing. And Mr. President was very kind enough to draw our attention again to the EU's Global Gateway Program, which is meant to finance key infrastructural projects in developing nations. And I think that that's one of the areas we'll explore to see if we can get money from the Global Gateway, the EU Global Gateway Program, to continue and complete some of the projects that we have between us and the EU countries.
Very much. We'll take a question from Joy New.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear President Mahama, it is my great pleasure and honor to be in your beautiful country as the first head of state after your re-election, but also as the second president in our history of diplomatic relations. The previous visit of the time Czechoslovak president happened more than 60 years ago, so it's really a long tradition which we can build on. Mr. President was so kind to make it easier for me because he went through all the issues that we discussed, so I don't have to repeat it again. I would like to thank you for really very generous hospitality that we were offered, and we cherish it. We see Ghana as a traditional partner in this region. Actually, it is our key partner in terms of economic exchange, Our exchange reached more than 33 million US dollars, and it was the second largest exchange within a decade. Despite some financial difficulties that your country is temporarily going through. And we believe that there is a great potential for extending our cooperation into the areas mentioned already by Mr. President. We are committed to extend that cooperation in areas that will bring benefit to both our countries. We believe in cooperation that creates and maintains added value in the countries where it is produced. That means we want to cooperate at the level of sharing, building common capabilities, and leaving the value here in Ghana to support your industry, your agriculture, support your society. I brought with me a delegation of part of our business, especially with regard to food processing, healthcare, mining, agriculture, and water purification. But there are many more to take part in cooperation in your country. And I am grateful that tomorrow I will be privileged to open a hub, to open the window to Czech technologies that will be open to all your citizens and companies interested in what Czech Republic has to offer. And vice versa, it will be a gateway for our companies coming to Ghana to look for new opportunities. I truly believe that the current global situation leads us to more thoughts about diversification, about building on existing partnerships and looking for new opportunities, because what we learned from existing conflicts in Europe, we face on one hand pressure security-wise from Russia, on the other economic and political from our ally United States. And in that environment, I think we all have to learn new ways of cooperating with each other. And I believe that we are on the right track between Czech Republic and Ghana to open that way much wider than up to now. And we are ready to do more with your companies, with your society, with your country. Thank you. Let me start with the general statement. I think imposing tariffs in such a brutal way really doesn't help either side. It will not help the situation in Africa, but it will not help situation in Europe, Asia, and even United States. Tariff wars are damaging everyone. So in my view, it is really unfortunate to impose such a broad wave of tariffs without negotiating. Countries, especially countries that are allies, should first negotiate, and only when they are not able to come to an agreement, they can exert some pressure. But we haven't explored the opportunities of negotiating. With regard to a number of African and Asian countries, especially those that belong amongst the poorest globally, like Lesotho or Cambodia and Laos, they are charged by the biggest tariffs in history. It could be easily destroying their economies. So I really think that we have to collectively address the United States to rethink this approach.
So that's the President of Czech Republic, Petr Pavel. Earlier you heard President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. They were speaking at the Jubilee House this afternoon. That would be it for Eyewitness News tonight. I am Umaru Sanda Amado. Production by Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, Sami Wiafe. Technical support from Emmanuel Latte. New media support from Emmanuel Owusu and the new media team. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening and have a good night.